was a nice win Saturday. It was certainly, I said it's never take winning for granted. To have an opportunity to win at home in a conference game, it's always great to win. But just want to thank everybody in the military, with it being the Military Appreciation Day the other day. Just thank everybody in the military for what they do on a day-to-day basis to give us the opportunity to live in the freedom that we live in, and to be able to have the opportunity to be involved with a great university and a great game and everything else. And so it was certainly nice to honor so many people in the military. But I have to thank the fans that endured the weather, that were out there. There were a lot of ponchos in the crowd Saturday, but I'll tell you what, the band and the cheerleaders were awesome. That band, they had more fun than anybody in the stadium, I think, watching them play and the way they've embraced it. And I know when we came home from Mississippi State, and we're getting home late on some of these road trips, they're out front playing. I can't thank them enough for the environment that they helped create and the job that they do for us. So certainly need to thank not only the fans, but the band and the cheerleader as well.
Adam, I didn't interrupt you, and we love the hat, but will you put it back on your head some so we don't get that big old shadow on you?
How's that? Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, just when you look.
You want me to put my head back like this so the light comes down?
Now you got your info.
Well, I had to put the hat on just to say thank you for the Military Appreciation Day. I think Middle Tennessee is a really good football team. I think they're a really good football team. I know they're banged up and beat up a little bit right now, and they have some injuries with what they're going through. But I was really impressed with what they did offensively and what they did with their passing game. They have a really good football team, and so it was really nice to win. But when we went out in this game, we talked about some keys for us for the success, and definitely one of them was that we needed to be physical. I felt like we really needed to be physical. We needed to bring an awful lot of energy, as the players call it, juice. I felt like we did that. We created an environment in the locker room, on the sideline, and I was just really proud of the way those guys went out, the way that the energy that they played with. But we not only played hard, we not only played physical, but I thought we played one of our smarter football games of the year. And I say smart football game. You can play hard, but you've got to play smart. We played hard at Mississippi State, and it was a really balanced football game when you look at the stats, but giving up special teams touchdowns, throwing pick sixes, doing those things, it doesn't matter how hard you play. And I thought in this game, I thought there were some great lessons learned from the Mississippi State game. I always say I don't mind taking a loss during the season if it will help us grow and learn as a football team. And I think that loss probably opened a lot of guys' eyes and some of the things that we need to do and the importance of it. And I thought we really went out and played a smart football game. When you talk about third down, it was one of our better third down games. When you looked at turnovers, we had 0 turnovers on offense. We created 3 on defense. The big plays, we kept them out of the end zone, and we had been lacking big plays the last couple weeks. And for us to have 2 big play touchdowns to put 14 points on the board, I just thought that this football team played smart. We're maturing, we're growing. I say it all the time, we're a work in progress, but I really like the way a lot of things came together on Saturday. Defensively, I thought we were very stout against the run. Can't say enough about Vernon Butler, the way he's playing right now. Aaron Brown, those 2 guys inside. I think Vontaris Dora had one of his better football games. And Jalen Ferguson continues to grow as just a freshman on the field who's getting more and more time. Canny started to come back a little bit this week, played about 10, 15 plays in this game. He's starting to become more full strength, so it'll be nice to have kind of all your weapons out there defensively, especially on the front line when you see the way Jalen has gained experience and the way that he's growing. Both feet, I thought both feet and Nick Thomason probably played their best game jointly together. I think Nick Thomason is really becoming a great football player. Both feet ran around, made a lot of things happen. Defensively, had a great interception. The players always joke him about his hands and catching, but you wouldn't know it on that play. I mean, he threw him out there in the bad weather conditions and caught a great ball with his hands and did some really good things. But defensively, we scored. We created 3 turnovers. We were stout versus the run. We gave up 384 yards passing, and I'll say it with 2 things. One, when you are as stout as we are right now against the run with our front 7, when you're able to put up points in a hurry and a team finds themselves down, they're going to start throwing the ball more. But I thought our defense did a great job giving up 380 yards, but giving up 16 points. And we let them throw it in front of us, They threw it underneath. They dinked and dunked. We rallied. I thought we tackled very well, and I thought our defense played a really solid football game, creating 5 positive field positions, a score. Really did some good things. Proud of the way that they played and the way they're starting to come together as a defense, and some of those young guys are really coming along. On the offensive side of the ball, having a 0 turnover day. I think at halftime I looked at the stats and we had 330 yards of offense, and I think about 35 plays. Had 35 points. I think we had 30 plays at half. 330 yards. We're averaging 11 yards a play. A lot of positive things as we came in here at halftime. Created some big plays. I think right now it was nice to have Kenneth Dixon back, but I thought Jared Kraft ran really well. I thought he played hard, and the combination of those two of them takes some of the pounding off of Kenneth coming back from his injury, but it was certainly nice to have him back out there. And then can't say enough about Jeff Driscoll, Trent Taylor, the way some of those guys are playing right now, and it was having both Paul and Carlos back was really nice. The disappointing thing offensively was we had 9 drops. I don't believe we had 9 drops all year. And you look at Jeff Driscoll was 20 of 30 throwing the ball with 7 drops. And when you look at that type of accuracy going out there in a bad weather day, I thought Jeff Driscoll was pretty phenomenal throwing the ball. When you've got a balanced offense like that, it makes it harder to defend. And so I was just really proud of the way the offensive line played. I thought Jens Danielson played his best game that he's played since he's been here. I thought he really did a nice job. And again, like I talked about with some of those skilled players. The special teams was solid. I don't think it was special, but it was certainly solid. They did a good job. It was nice to get the onside kick and then to watch the offense reel off a 7.5-minute drive for 14 plays and eat up the rest of the fourth quarter while the defense was able to sit over on the bench. So I thought there were a lot of positive things to build on from this game. There were a lot of good things in this game. But like I said, just really excited to get the win. And I think we beat a really good football team in Middle Tennessee here at home. So as I said, every week, never take winning for granted. Short week as we get ready for Rice this week. We have a little bit different schedule. We will practice tonight. Normally Monday is their day off. We will practice tonight. Looks like we may even have the opportunity to get more wet practice in, having the opportunity to throw the ball around in the rain a little bit. But we will practice tonight, which is going to be a little bit different than we will be normal on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be our travel day, and Friday will be the game. So a short week, not a lot of preparation time, but this late in the season, it's not like you're adding a lot of wrinkles or still have a lot of things to put in. We've got to go polish some things up because when you look at Rice, they have the number 1 rushing offense in our league. Our defense is definitely going to be challenged with that, but they also have great balance. They're throwing for 241 yards a game. They have an experienced quarterback who does a lot of good things. They have 3 different running backs that have rushed for over 100 yards. They're running the ball with committee right now. Their offensive line is very big and experienced, and I think they do a really nice job of what they do offensively. They've got more speed than they did last year, and so they pose some challenges for us right now. And then when I look at them on defense, they are a different defense and are a little different in trying to get used to it because they play a nickel defense, which means they play 5 defensive backs all the time. They play 2 linebackers and 4 down linemen. And with the 5 defensive backs, some of their coverages get a little bit exotic, and we're going to need to spend some time this week in our passing game and what we're doing and trying to make sure that we're getting the reads and what they're able to do as a defense. They have very active. They're undersized defensive line. When you say about 220 to 30 pounds, but they're very active. Their defensive ends are very active and they're very stout in the middle. Then Alex Lyons, the linebacker number 4, is their leading tackler and kind of all over the field. So it's got all the makings to be a great game. It's a conference game late in the season as we're getting towards the end of October. You've got 2 teams right now that are tied for the West. That have a little history together between the 2 schools in the last couple of years that we've had an opportunity to play. He's got great respect for David Bailiff and the way that he runs his program and the way that the program that he has built and the job that he has done. And it's certainly going to be a challenge in a short week to go on the road because the last time we did this was Western Kentucky at the beginning of the season. So we're going to have to be mature in how we handle this. And we're going to have to really rely on a lot of our senior and upperclassmen leadership to make sure that we can get the preparation we need early in the week because we're going to have to travel late in the week and play an early game on Friday. So excited about the opportunity, just excited to have something to play for this late in the season.
The big key to me in the win was the second quarter when you outscored them, 3 touchdowns in like 2 minutes, 27 seconds or whatever. Then it hit a lull in the third quarter. Overall, how would you explain the discrepancy between the way y'all played in the second quarter and then not so much in the third quarter, you think?
Well, in the second quarter, we got our pick six. I mean, so that put 7 points on the board, and the great job Bryson Abraham did, and Blake Baker kind of scheming that up with what they were doing, trying to throw all the bubbles. And so you get 7 points that way. We got another turnover and took a quick shot right after the turnover, and that's when we hit Kenneth Dixon down the sideline from a big play standpoint. And also hit Carlos Henderson on a big play that went for 6. And so when you look at the points that went up in a hurry, a lot of that was big plays. We executed, we threw the ball down the field, and we were able to put a lot of points up in a hurry. It's almost like when you get somebody reeling a little bit, you don't want to let your foot off the gas. You've got a 35-10 lead. You go in at halftime. You talk a little bit about what you're trying to do. We came out, we had 2 holding penalties in the third quarter. We had out of the 9 drops that we had, the majority of them were in the second half. It started raining a little bit harder, and it's a lot harder to establish a drive when you're getting penalties and you got to go 20 yards and you're dropping footballs. But I didn't think that we played with the consistency that we need to play as an offense, and I think a lot of those points in the second quarter were big plays.
But just for the overall year, like I think it's like 60. You're being outscored in the third quarter like 60 to 37 or something. Like, what do you think that's attributed to, like throughout the entire season over the first 8 games?
Well, and I'll go even like we have gone into a number of games this year, and if you look at again the whole body of work, I'm trying to think, it's probably 4 games. I think we've gone into 4 games where we go into the first quarter and they're playing something completely different than what we've seen on film. It's almost like people are coming in, some of the package to stop Kenneth, some have a package to sink back, drop 8, only put 3 down linemen, and it takes you a series or 2 to, okay, what are they doing? How are we going to attack it? Everybody take a deep breath. It's a 60-minute game. Nobody panic. Let's draw up what they're doing, get everybody on the same page and what we're going to do to attack it. And then the players have done an unbelievable job of going out and executing. When we've gotten into a couple of the second halves, I've got more conservative. I've started running the ball. We've had a lead, protect our defense, eat up clock, and punt it away. And to me, that's a formula for success. Some may say that it's conservative, may take some points away, but the object of what we're trying to do is not outscore them in the first, second, third quarter and let's see if we can put up 70. It's what do we have to do to win the football game. And when we're up 35-10, I've got a tailback who's just now coming back. We've got to play some more people. I got a quarterback who had turned his ankle in the second quarter. Let's protect him a little bit. Let's get big, run the ball, eat up clock, punt it away, and see if we can find a way to take home a win. And that's what we were able to do.
Seems like one of the common themes in college football these days is the bend but don't break defense. Do you think that's something that's come of age because of the spread offenses?
Yeah, I definitely. It's a lot easier. People are throwing the ball as run plays now. I mean, people are throwing the ball underneath and saying, okay, we got 4. Well, that's just like running it up inside and I'm 2nd and 6. And so you look at when people are spreading you out, they're trying to avoid sacks, they're getting rid of the ball in a hurry, that's part of their run game. And so I think it's definitely as soon as you jump up and trying to start taking all that away, that's when the ball starts going over everybody's head. And so we have talked to our team about, our whole philosophy is let them throw it underneath and let's rally to it and tackle it. And I thought the defense, they tackled very well. Outside of really probably about 3 key third and longs that we gave up, I thought our defense really played an excellent job and could have got off the field a lot quicker. But like I said, I think Brent Stockstill's a really good quarterback. He does a really nice job. He makes his decisions very well. Doesn't put the ball in danger very often, but we were able to capitalize on the couple times that he did. And so I think that's all part of it now. I do think, there's a lot of people that are coming up to stop the underneath stuff that are giving up 70 points. So I don't care how many yards they throw for, I care how many points they score. Because at the end of the day, it's not a statistical game, it's a score game. And that's how we're trying to play it as a football team.
What was your plan going in with Kenneth in terms of like touches and how that move forward as now I'm assuming he will be closer, if not close to 100% this week?
Yeah, he's really getting there, and we wanted to, let's see how he does. Let's put him out there, and let's see how he's going to respond with everything. And seems like after every series, I was like, Jabbar, go check with him, make sure he's good. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure that if I'm going to keep putting him in, it's not swelling, tender, sore. I told him, you just got to be honest with us. I mean, tell us where it is, and he was great. He said, there were times that got a little bit sore on him, and you'd see him get up and limp, but I didn't see him limp one time with the ball under his arm. I didn't see him limp. It wasn't until he scored the touchdown, then he would limp coming back. But I thought he really did a great job, and the plan was to start Jared. Jared had earned that with the amount of practice and the reps that he's taken the last couple weeks. And so it was to put Kenneth in, and let's kind of see how he goes. And we either give him a little bit more or take a little bit more off him. And then when we had the big lead in the second half, we didn't play him near as much in the second half. At that point, it was let's shut him down a little bit.
So he'll start and assume a normal workload then?
We'll find out, this week. I mean, if he's able to practice and everything, and how's it going to respond. And it swole up just a little bit, which is natural. I mean, it's kind of a 2-step forward, 1 step back. And how much is he going to be able to practice? But I would imagine he'll be even better this week than he was last week. So it's all going to be predicated on how much he practices and kind of where his ankle goes on whether or not he'll start or not.
Coach, it does look like Rice gives up a lot of points. Do you look at games maybe with common denominators like the Western Kentucky efforts and kind of see some similarities there? I got to think you see some things on tape that would make you pretty excited.
Well, you see, there have been some people that have made some big plays on them. When you look at this defense, I mean, they held Texas to 260 yards, and they had 450 in that game, but they gave up 3 punt returns. You look at them in that game, and you go, wow. I mean, they're physical, they're running around. And then you watch them against Baylor, and Baylor, they're scoring 70 points against everybody they play, but you watch them against Baylor, and Baylor hits a lot of big plays on them. But then Western Kentucky, similar, but at the same point, similar in the fact that they hit big plays, but they do it differently because they have a couple tight ends, and they will motion and shift and overload a formation, and that's not really from a personnel grouping what we have. And so I think there's bits and pieces you got to take from every game, but you look at this Rice team, they're 4-3 right now. Their 3 losses are to Western Kentucky, to Baylor, and to Texas. I mean, I think they're a very good football team. I think it'll pose a great challenge for us, but I don't think we can go in and just say we're going to throw the ball, and I certainly don't think we can go in and just say we're going to pound the ball. I think we're going to have to kind of see what their package is and what they're going to try and do against us, and then we'll try and attack it with the weapons that we have.
You know David Baylor for many years. 2 years ago, you were one of his first phone calls when his father passed away the week of the Tech-Rice game. Just comment a little bit about your relationship with him. And I know you mentioned he's one of your better friends.
He is. It goes way past football. I mean, when my wife was going through her bout with cancer, I mean, he was one of the first ones that called me. When his father passed away, he's a guy that I have a phenomenal amount of respect for. We've coached against each other a number of times. When he was at Rice, I was at East Carolina. We had a really good group of guys that we spent a lot of time together, some really quality coaches that were in this league at that time. And David and I just formed a bond and a relationship, and we've remained friends since. And that's why when we went down there and took a 54-10 rear end whipping last time we went down there, and we were excited to have the opportunity to return the favor last year. And so there is a great rivalry brewing with these 2 schools, with these 2 universities. Some very some I'm not going to call them feisty, hard-fought football games, really quality football. And I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to go down and play it. And I know our players are really excited about it. And you hear Jens talk about the memories of going down there 2 years ago and sitting on that sideline and watching the clock run and watching them run the ball up and down the field the way that they were able to do it against us. And so I think everybody's excited about this game. And just as Rick Stockstill, I have a 30-year relationship with Coach Stockstill, and it's one of those ones that you hate having to play your opponent, your friend, because somebody's got to lose. But when they put that ball on the tee, I mean, for 3 hours, it's compete. Let's line up. You coach yours, I'll coach mine. May the best team win.
On Saturday after the game, Jeff said just kind of what he envisioned with the offense, with all the weapons back. Kenneth running for touchdowns, Trent catching all the balls, Carlos running deep, catching touchdowns. Is this what you envisioned as well? Are you with Jeff on that?
Agreed. And I talked about we had not played a game yet with all of our skill players in place, and the guy that still is not back we thought would have a chance was Connor. And I think Cameron McKnight stepped in and done a great job. But yeah, you just want everybody healthy, and I certainly don't think it was one of our better games as receivers with the number of drops we talked about, but it's certainly what we envisioned when we put it together. And I think the offensive staff, I think Chance Trickett, Joe Sloan, Tony Peterson, all the offensive coaches from a recruiting standpoint have done an unbelievable job of putting things in place, because when you look at it, every one of those skill players outside of Kenneth, we've brought in here in the last 3 years. And to see those guys come in, that's what you're trying to build, is a high-powered offensive football team that has an opportunity to score. Because when you look at college football today, not many people are winning 10-7. I mean, if you want to win football games in today's day and age in football, you've got to put points up. And in order to put points up, you better have a quarterback and you better have some skilled players that can run. And right now, I think the offensive staff's done an incredible job in recruiting and putting all these pieces to place. And I think Robert McFarland, we're trying to build that same thing up front on the offensive line by bringing a lot of young guys in here. And I'm looking at O'Shea Dugas playing and Shane Carpenter playing. And I look at a young guy in Ethan Reed who's going to be stepping in the future, who's redshirting this year. And I look at Michael Rodriguez. And I think there's some young guys in the program that are going to give us the opportunity to do what we want to do as an offense, as an offensive line, and with these skill players that are in place. But I think that's today's day. We couldn't do what we're doing without an unbelievable recruiting staff, and I think we have that right now.
Coach, are you a fan of these Friday night games, or is that just what TV dictates? And I guess the follow-up question, what kind of opportunity is this for your program to be on Fox Sports 1 and to be in the Houston area, which of course is a hotbed for high school recruits?
Well, the two things, I would much rather play on Saturday. I've always viewed Friday night as held for the high schools in the state of Texas, Louisiana. Friday night is high school football. The communities rally around those high schools and those programs, and believe it or not, I remember those days, even though it was a long time ago. And so I hate to take anything away from that, because I do think that is a sacred experience for those high schools, for those communities, to have that Friday night to go to those football stadiums and have an opportunity to support their community. And so from that standpoint, I'm not a big fan of Friday night games. I think that's where the Thursday nights really have become popular in college football, which we played earlier in the season. I do like the exposure that playing the weekday games gives us as a program, playing on Fox Sports 1, playing with a kind of a captive audience, because, I mean, people are going to watch it. You're only competing with so many games on a Thursday or Friday night compared to a Saturday when everybody in the country's playing. So it's a double-edged sword. I do enjoy the exposure part of it. I think having the opportunity to play in Houston, an area where we recruit, we've got some young men on our football team from that area. I think having the opportunity to play there, to play on national television, and to play a primetime game like that is going to be awesome. But I still think Friday nights should be reserved. But as TV dictates, say coaches coach, players play, and administrators administrate. They didn't come ask me what day I wanted to play the game. They told me, and so we put the schedule together, and we're just getting ready to play it on a Friday night.
Jeff said it again after the game that with Trent, it's almost like clockwork now, like 10 catches, 100 yards. That's kind of what the expectation is. How do you describe, from your point of view, the connection, the relationship they have on the field?
I think Trent is really, really talented, and I don't think it took Jeff long to realize that when I throw the ball in Trent's direction, A, he gets open, B, he catches it. And as a quarterback, that's what you're looking for. And I think he's developed a trust, because he knows where Trent's going to be, Trent's where he's supposed to be, Trent's going to run the route to win, and he's going to catch it. And I think from that standpoint, Jeff is very comfortable with Trent. They have developed a bond and a neat little relationship. And I think it's probably as much a trust factor as it is anything else. And Trent knows he's going to run his route and he's going to go win, because if he does, Jeff's going to find a way to find him. And he'll start to see a little bit more double coverage as people will start to look at your hit charts and who your key players are and who they have to stop. But I also think that's where opportunities in one-on-one come from. Cam Manning, come for a Cameron McKnight, come for a Carlos Henderson, and for a Paul Turner. I think that's where some of those one-on-one opportunities come in for them as well. So we'll just have to keep growing, and I think Jeff's done a really nice job of taking what a defense gives them and not trying to force the ball just to Trent. but when he has a choice, right now he's going to look in that direction.
Statistically, Trent's top 5, and I know he has to count, and top 5 in catches, I don't know if we have to count for like 5 weeks and whatnot, but have you ever had a duo in your time coaching that seems to be that in sync where a quarterback is producing a top 5 wide receiver in the country?
I go back like when we had at Notre Dame, we had some pretty good relationships, but my father never wanted to throw it, so we didn't have many numbers. We didn't have many numbers to put up with it. But I go back, I know when we had Andre Allison at East Carolina and James Pinkney in our first year, he was in over 100. He had over 100 catches and 1,000 yards for us there. There have been a couple times in my career where you have a really special receiver that you move him around, try and do a lot with him, and try and put him at the point of attack. And Trent's definitely one of those type of players. But I do think we probably have more weapons around Trent, which is making it very difficult for people to say, okay, we're just gonna try and take Trent away, because especially with Kenneth healthy and some of the speed at some of the other positions, you have some versatility as an offense.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.